One of my favorite shows of all time is Jane the Virgin, the American remake of a Venezuelan novella of the same title, Juana la Virgin. The show centers around our cheesy, fun-loving, and semi-judgmental, right, since she has a gray shoulder on her head, writer protagonist, obviously named Jane. I've I've rewatched Jane the Virgin like literally 6 times. I think fully 4 times, and then 2 times I've gone to like season 3 or like halfway through season 4, and then I never ended up actually like watching all season 4. Are you guys weird like me, where you'll like rewatch a show and then you won't end it because you don't want to like you don't want it to be over? You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just a weirdo. Anyways, so one episode, Jane was struggling with a chapter in her book, and she decided to start going to a writers group to help her tackle it. What I'm reading to you guys right now, this is my book, The Digital Alchemist Blueprint. It's my free ebook. So if you guys like what this video is about and you're interested in learning more about unblocking your creativity, really just a no BS guide to mental digital transmutation, improving your mental health, practically improving your productivity. If you'd like a free guide to that, that's in the description. All right. So after a few classes and Jane having to redeem herself for making one of her classmates cry, it was by accident though, all right? Jane's not evil. Right? She had gotten into a small interaction with her teacher. Her teacher was actually a writer who Jane really loved and looked up to. She'd been reading her work and her novels for the past, like, I don't know, 5, 6 years since she was in college. And so she really looked up to her. And the fact that she was able to have this interaction really meant a lot to her. Her teacher said one line to her that has stuck with me ever since I watched it for the first time 4 years ago, right back in 2020. I just, not just, but I finished my like sixth rewatch, sometime during the summer. Yes, six rewatch, right? But this is what Jane's Virgin. This is what Jane's teacher said to her. The block is often further back than we believe. See, this episode, Jane was struggling with her relationship with Raphael, baby daddy and boyfriend at the time. This show's love triangles are something else, bro. Let me tell you. Fucking crazy. The love triangles in Jane the Virgin are fucking unmatched. Right? But basically, Jane was just, she's like anxious about what was going on with her relationship, right? Anxious about their future, about, something Raphael did. Not exactly sure of all the deets. What I do know was that as soon as she started talking, oh wait, you know what? Actually, Raphael totally fucked something up. I don't remember exactly, but he did something. Typical Raphael. Anyways, but after Jane talked to him, she released her mental block that was further back, right? Like her teacher said, that was caused by her anxiety from her relationship. And then the waters came crashing again. She was back to writing and back in her groove. After Jane had this conversation, after she released her block, flow came crashing back. I mean, it makes sense. Imagine you have a fat ass dam. The point of a dam is to stop the flow of the water. When you move the dam, you fucking break down the dam, flow comes back. And so, what are these 3 types of blocks? What are the 3 types of blocks that we have? I'll tell you. Number 1, physical blocks. Number 2, mental blocks. And number 3, spiritual blocks. Very simple, related to the physical, mental, and spiritual planes. Let's go a little deeper into these. Physical blocks are connected to our bodies. They're surface level friction, surface level resistance. These are things like hunger, dehydration, a sound interrupting your focus, pain in your hand, and stopping you from writing or typing. Right? Things connected to your body. These things will produce friction when it comes to you like being able to create, being able to produce, being able to work. But with just a bit of fucking mental resilience, you can push through most physical blocks. You know what I mean? Now we have number 2, mental blocks, which are connected to our minds. These are mid-level friction. This can be something like a lack of focus caused by overstimulation, like fucking TikToks. Stop fucking scrolling. This could be poor sleep, which is causing inefficient performance, or the anxiety of what could be stops us altogether. Right? So projecting into the future stops us from even taking action right now. We project into the future, and because of that projection, we don't even take action on what we could do right now, which Is something, but we can't do it because we're too busy in the future, right? Our head's in the future. When I heard this one time, it was like a huge paradigm shifter for me. Stop staying trapped in duality, the duality of space time, the duality of time, of, of past and future. There we go. Past and the future are there to serve us. The past is there for lessons. Past is there to teach us things. Okay, awesome. Past is there for us to look at these things and transmute them into lessons, into evolution, into growth. And that's okay. That's fucking beautiful. Of course, I want to do that. That sounds great. The future is to test our surrender. It's to trust in God. It's to have faith. It's to have that mind heart coherence, belief, not of the mind, but trust, true faith in the heart. Not, oh, like, oh yeah, this may happen, but like genuine conviction, real knowing that the will of God is guiding you. The divine is showing you the way. That is true faith, true emotional conviction. That comes from the heart, right? And so there is anxiety, which comes when we're too focused in the past. I mean, depression comes when we're too focused in the past, right? When we're not able to transmute and figure out the lessons, we stay trapped in the hard experience. We stay trapped in the negativity, which keeps us in that negative thought spiral. Depression, boom. If we're in the future, right, and instead of using the future as an opportunity to surrender and to trust in God, but we have to take up the future upon ourselves. We have to have all this control. It starts to stress us out. It starts to make us worry because we don't know how the fuck we're gonna figure this thing out. You see what I'm saying? And so stepping out of duality, out of confines of space time, out of the depression of the past, out of the anxiety of the future. And you can just live in the present moment. When you can get into a flow state, which is why I preach flow state so heavily. Flow state is being in the present moment. You can't be in a flow state and not be present. Flow state is oneness, oneness with the task at hand. Presence is putting your attention, your focus on oneness. It's the same exact shit. It's all the same. It's all the same. Oneness, presence, flow state. It's all the same thing. That is why it's such a peak human experience, because it is the human experience. When you're in flow state, you're perfectly in alignment with the will of God, which is in alignment with your truest nature, which feels amazing. Because when we're out of alignment with our truest nature, we feel it. Our emotions are always guiding us. Our emotions are a guidance system, the emotional guidance system. When we're in alignment with our truest nature, our authenticity, we feel it. We feel good. We feel amazing. We feel happy. We feel love. We feel peace. We feel bliss. We feel progress and fulfillment. But when we're out of alignment with our true nature, with our authenticity, we feel pain or suffering or regret, or we feel fear or hate or judgment, whatever. So we have to understand that. We have to understand that these things are what they are, right? And so whenever we feel something, we have to say that, oh, this is a sign that I'm living in alignment or I'm not. I feel amazing. Okay, let's keep doing the things that are making me feel amazing. I don't feel good. Okay, let me reflect. Let me learn from my past and see how to adjust. But after I learn how to adjust, I let go. And I don't keep worrying about how I'm gonna be the perfect person and be aligned and how I'm gonna figure everything the fuck out in the future, because that's not your fucking problem. That's God's problem. And that just gets us right to spiritual blocks. Right? And so spiritual blocks are connected to our spirits, the highest form of resistance. And these things are trauma, damaged self-worth, artist abuse, or living in duality. All of these are different types of blocks that can get in our way, right? Physical, mental blocks, and spiritual blocks. All of these can get in our way and stop us from creating. So let me just talk about spiritual blocks a bit. Trauma, damaged self-worth, artist abuse. These are all interconnected. If who you are as the expression of the source, the individual, if you don't believe that that person is good enough, if you don't believe that that being is good enough, you don't believe you are good enough, you won't create, you won't be yourself, you won't express. Creation is an expression of the self. If you don't feel like you can be yourself, you won't create, you won't express. If you've been told that who you are is stupid, that your dreams are silly, that what you want to do is dumb, that what you want to have isn't reasonable, that people like us can't have those things, that you're not able to have those things, that you're not good enough to have those things, whatever the fuck bullshit programming you've been sold by your parents, by the school system, by society, by the religious figures, by your friends, or by influencers, or whoever the fuck. I don't know. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I genuinely don't fucking. I don't fucking care. Whoever sold you that shit, I need you to get the fuck out of your head, because that programming is keeping you stuck in this paradigm that you can't do the things that you want to do, that you can't be the person that you want to be. And if you can't be the person you want to be and do the things you can't do, or do the things you want to do, you won't have the things you want to have. Be, do, have. If you can't be who you want to be, you won't do what you want to do, and you won't have what you want to have. You see how everything starts at who you are? All of that starts with the internal. The internal state is composed of your beliefs, your identity, your self-belief, and your paradigm, your world beliefs. It's composed of your emotionally charged thoughts. What thoughts do you hold with conviction? What thoughts do you genuinely believe? It composed of your emotional state, your stability. This is why emotional discipline is important. If you're all over the place and wavering, life is going to be like, oh, you can't control yourself. Why the fuck should I bend to you? You know what I mean? That's why discipline is such an important skill. Last thing is your attention. Where are you putting your time, your energy, your investment? You know, I was talking, actually, I was in the last recording. I thought I was recording what I thought would be this vlog. It wasn't. That's not. But today, I got a bunch of books. These were 2 books that I got off Amazon with some Christmas money from my Nana Willow, Corpus Hermeticum, and an etymology book. And then today for my birthday, birthday's tomorrow, but we celebrated as a family today because my dad's working. But we went to the mall to go see Moana 2. Highly recommend. But my dad got me some books, and it's like I've been investing my attention a lot into books and into doing, investing my energy, investing my time, investing my money, whatever I can, however I can invest into the things I want to continue to actualize in myself. So whether that's my fitness, going to the gym, whether that's books, investing in knowledge, investing in storytelling, whether that's watching podcasts or consuming content, whatever. I'm actively putting my time, attention, money into the things that I feel like are going to get me closer to my goals. When I put my attention on those things will come back to me. So your attention, your emotionally charged thoughts, your emotional state, your self beliefs, your identity, and your world beliefs, your paradigm. Those things comprise your eternal state. And your internal state is the cause of the effect. The effect is your actions. And so it's like, if you want to change anything in the physical plane, you have to first start in the mental spiritual planes. You have to first start in the internal if you want to change the external. That's why I talk about esotericism and metaphysics so much, because you have to understand that materialism isn't the foundation of the world. Mentalism is. The first law of Hermeticism, or the first Hermetic principle. Okay, right. So no longer to go on the esoteric rant, but actually, you keep going on the esoteric rant. The last spiritual block is living in duality. That's another big one. The thing is, guys, you are a reflection of the Creator. Period. Genesis 1:26 said, "You are made," or no, he said that. Genesis 1:26 said, "Then God said, let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness." We are made in the image of the Creator, which means that we are creators. But if you're in this dualistic paradigm of I am separate from God, I'm not in the image of God, that I am not capable of the things that God is capable of, I'm not capable of the love or the wisdom or the creativity or the abundance that God is capable of. If you believe those things because you're stuck in this dualistic perspective, if you don't believe you're capable of these things because you're stuck in this dualistic perspective, then you'll never tap into your unlimited creativity, because you don't even know that you have unlimited creativity to tap into. Unlimited creativity is your nature. It is the nature of the Creator, and so it is our nature as images of the Creator. However, if we're living in this dualistic perspective, if we're identifying too much with the body, with the material, with our physical, and not with who we truly are, with the spirit behind the body, the observer behind the body, the observer behind the mind, behind the emotion. If you can't identify with the observer, then you'll never understand that you you can't produce without creativity, right? I'll talk about this real quick. So I have this concept called the art of creation. How creation is a two-step process. One part ideation and one part actualization. So creativity is going from nothing to something, or going from 0 to 1. And then productivity is going from, or is building off of that idea, right? That creativity got you from, right? It's actualizing it to that greatest version. So 1 to 10, 1 to 20 to 100, 1,000, infinity, right? In theory. And so, in my eyes, right, the first half of creation is creativity, and the second half of creation is productivity. If we want to distill this into the 700 principle of gender, first half is the feminine aspect of creation, creativity is the feminine aspect of creation, and productivity is the masculine aspect of creation. Creativity, spiritual aspect of creation, the spiritual and mental aspect, and productivity, the mental and the physical aspect of creation. In essence, creativity is of the spiritual and mental planes, productivity is of the mental and physical planes. When we face mental and especially spiritual blocks, we often turn to emotional coping and dissociative techniques. In people with complex PTSD or CPTSD, which is trauma over an extended period of time, which is one instance, this association is extremely common. This association is the separation of one's thoughts, feelings, and perception from that of the physical experience. If someone was constantly getting abused as a child, they could have learned to disassociate as an adaptation mechanism. Makes sense. The thing is, trauma happens for a reason. Our brains are attempting to make the best out of a bad situation. And so it picks up these ways to protect us. It picks up these adaptations to protect us. And so our mental and spiritual healing journey is one that consists of finding these adaptations that our trauma has, imposed for us that we're most likely unaware of, and then doing the inner work to unlearn those adaptations. Because if a belief isn't serving you, then it's just there to control you. That's a quote from Nero. So I want you to think about this for a second. If you've been traumatized or you're dissociating through other means, such as substance or technology abuse, then you are constantly severing your connection with from the physical and mental or physical and emotional planes. And if your physical self is getting cut off from your mind, also getting cut off. Excuse me. Bridge connecting you to God. Here's how I like to conceptualize our nature as humans. We have the physical, which is the body. We have the mental, the mind, and we have the spirit, the spiritual, right? This is the spirit, the soul, the observer, the awareness behind all of it. The mind is the plane is the bridge between the truest nature of yourself, the spiritual, and the physical vessel, the bound that ties us to the physical plane. Between the physical plane and the spiritual plane, there is the bridge, the mental plane. And so if your physical self, right, if you are cutting yourself off from your mind through dissociation, whether that's because you're traumatized or because substance or technology abuse, whatever, then you're constantly disconnecting yourself from the bridge that's connecting you to God. If you're constantly severing or breaking away from the spiritual or mental and emotional planes, then you won't be able to tap into source to receive the signals you should be receiving. Signals you need in order to create. And so you have these blocks, physical, mental, spiritual blocks, and you need to get past them so you can tap into your unlimited creativity. Because once you can start tapping into your unlimited creativity, you can just start taking action over a consistent period of time and building your productivity skill. Thing is, guys, most people aren't creators not because they don't know how to work. It's because they're not actualizing the ideas that they're getting. It's the fucking problem. Working, anybody can learn how to fucking work. Working is not hard, okay? Now, granted, there are like certain skill sets, there are certain types of work that are more difficult than others that take longer times to, figure out than others, of course, obviously. But at the end of the day, most of work is a mental game. And if you can understand the mental game, then you can work on anything, right? But the thing is, it's like before the mental game, before you actually do the work, before you do the producing, what happens, right? Before there's a one to build off, we have to go to one. Right? We have to go from 0 to 1. We have to have the idea. But if you're disconnected from your ideas, or you're not trusting in your ideas, you're not executing on your ideas, then you're not going to create anything. And so, how do you unblock these things? How do you unblock these physical, mental, spiritual blocks? How do you start flowing more? How do you stop? How do you start tapping into that creativity, unlimited creativity, so you can start becoming a more consistent and fulfilled creator? There are three ways. There are three things that I've done over the past year and a half that has helped me drastically improve my mental health, unblock my creativity, and thus, propel me to fucking 10x my productivity over the last year. Going from barely able to work 20, 30 minutes to easily clocking 4 6 hour flow state sessions. I can clock 12-hour work days, no problem. Do I want to? No, but I can. I can. One is walks, two is meditation, and three is journaling. Okay. So going on a 20+ minute walk every day is not only solid exercise and a good time to let your mind run free, it's a good time to introspect and be with your thoughts. Whilst I love listening to podcasts, there we go. Whilst I love listening to podcasts or videos while walking, I highly recommend unplugging for at least 10 minutes on every walk you do before deep diving into one of your favorite podcasts or videos. This idle time is to allow the mind to rest and is also key to let the spirit reflect. Right? Before we can truly tap into our spirit, the truest nature of ourself, we have to calm the mind and get past the egoic nature of ourselves. You know what I mean? And so as the body is in a mechanical and non-taxing state of walking, our minds and spirits work together to process our emotions, identify our problems, create solutions for them, and best address them through acceptance and action steps. So walking has been being astronomical for me. Meditation, number two. I'll admit, I was always like a skeptic of medication, right? So it's like, why the fuck would I just sit there and like chant like oh or amp? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, what the hell? It's like, I mean, technically it's right? But sure. I stayed skeptical until I finally understand the true purpose of meditation, or at least, one of them, which is to train our ability to calm the mind and dive deeper into our spirit, pure consciousness, our truest nature, to resolve the mind, to resolve the ego, and to tap into the truest nature of ourself, the pure awareness, to get into that state where we can rise above the mental plane and tap into the super conscious mind of God, into the mind of the all. And so once I understood that meditation was merely a technique to harbor a greater mental and spiritual mastery, I was instantly on board. Granted, have I been consistent in meditation over the last, year, 15-ish months that I've done it? No. But I've loved all the time and all the experience I've gotten in meditation, and I've been getting back to a more consistent practice the past week. I'm not gonna lie, I've been lacking the past couple days, but before these past couple days, I checked like 5 days in a row, which is pretty good. I'd certainly recommend everyone dabble and try out different meditations. There's over 100 types, and not everything works for everyone. But here's the refocusing technique that I choose most often, which is a very simple inhale and exhale, while focusing on the movement of the breath. Um, I breathe in and out, and I try to notice the life energy going down my chest and stomach. I breathe out and try to notice the life force shooting up my spine. So, right, when I breathe in, I notice the life energy coming down my chest and my stomach, and when I breathe out, I notice the life force shooting up my spine. Right, I can feel that. Nice. That's the intention. The intention is to follow the breath. That's what it's called. And so what you do is you just start with just 2 minutes for the next week and just see how you like it. I started out with just 2 minutes a day and saw results in mental clarity and stillness, like literally instantly. And you can do like even simpler practices by just sitting and laying and closing your eyes, right? No breath work, no chanting, like literally just sitting in silence. Just pure being. That is a great meditation to do. Number 3, journaling. Journaling has easily been the tool that has helped me identify my blocks through introspections and allow me to take a pickaxe to the dam every day and make progress towards unblocking. Granted, I don't mean like actively journaling every day, but I just mean that journaling allows me to go within and allows me to process my thoughts in a way that when I'm contemplating through meditation or walks, I just can't. It's just, something about writing, right? And so when I'm journaling, it really allows me to find those blocks that are like deeper, allows me to introspect to find those gaps in my awareness and to, shed light on those shadows. I've previously tasked clients with dabbling in a journaling style known as morning pages. This style was developed by writer-director Julia Cameron in her famous guide to higher spiritual creativity, titled The Artist's Way. I'll just be frank. The Artist's Way changed my life, right? So I highly recommend it, checking it out. Anyone who wants to be a more authentic creator and unblock their flow. A lot of the outside of the metaphysical perspective that I have, a lot of the unblocking your creativity stuff that I've learned and embodied has been rooted in Julia Cameron's teachings from The Artist's Way. And the morning pages are a cornerstone tool of The Artist's Way. And it's a very simple practice of waking up and writing straight, like streamlined consciousness. And so it's just like whatever pops into your head, you just fucking put it on your page, right? Typically 3 pages is what Julia recommends, but I like to recommend that people start with small, right? Just start small, which is way less friction to write. Writing 3 pages straight can take like 20, 30 minutes. You probably don't want to start with that much. But writing 1 page takes 5, 10 minutes. You can do that for sure. And it's very simple, right? 1, thoughts pop into your head. 2, your pen or your pencil pops them onto the paper. It's very simple, right? You don't think about your writing or even call it writing. The morning pages aren't supposed to be good or supposed to be art. They're just supposed to be. That's it. So the morning pages are a daily habit that strengthens our showing up muscles. They just get us to like just show up and get the work done, to show up for ourselves. To unblock to just allow us to create. You know what I mean? The pages get us out of bed and get us creating with zero expectations that we're thinking or writing will be good whatsoever, or be any good. Right? The pages really reinforce this habit of just showing up and simply allowing us to be free, which is a very beautiful thing that they do. So here's your action step round. Number 1, choose one of the intentional actions. That's kind of like a phrase I used in Digital Alchemist Blueprint, but it's unplugged walks, journaling, or meditation. Choose one of the intentional actions to focus on being the main vehicle you use to heal, self-inquire, and process emotions. Right? So use unplugged walks, journaling, or meditation to be your main vehicle for that. 2, with your newfound awareness, I want you to identify one block for each category. Okay, so 1 physical block, 1 mental block, and 1 spiritual block that you have. And 3, I want you to create your own action step prompts that allow you to begin making progress healing towards those blocks. Okay, so I'll just give you like a quick example so you have an idea of it. Number 1 could be you pick unplugged walks, let's say. Number 2 is my physical block is my muscles are sore, which distracts me from working longer. My mental block is I'm tired, which makes it hard to focus. And my spiritual block is I'm not embracing my true nature as a creator. Right? If I'm not embracing that part of myself, I'm trapped. I'm not fully connected to that, which means I won't have that creativity fully flowing in. You know what I mean? So those are my 3 blocks: soreness, lack of sleep, tired, lack of focus, and not embracing my authenticity as a creator. And so here are the action step prompts that I would create myself. Go to bed 60 minutes earlier, which would be more sleep plus more recovery, which is a double whammy, right? Muscle sore, which is like it'd be good for our mental and our physical in terms of sleeping for recovery and uh, helping our muscles out. So going to bed 60 minutes earlier, getting more sleep would be great for our fatigue and muscle and our mental fatigue. And then for our spiritual block, here's our action step. Go on a 5-minute unplugged walk to connect with myself, connect with nature, and connect with oneness. It's very simple, guys. It's very, very simple. I'm going to leave you off with this last message and I'm going to wrap up. You are a creator. It would be unreasonable to believe that as the infinite creator, right, as God, that God couldn't create. It's like, what? How could God not create? God is the creator, right? And if we're made in the image of God, that must mean that we have to be infinite creators as well. Granted, of course, we have the confines of space-time, but our thinking and our creativity do not. Our body, our actions are limited by space-time, sure. But the things that we believe, the thoughts, the beliefs that we hold about ourselves, the conviction, the ideas that we pursue, the limitations that we have are non-existent because our nature is infinite and eternal. If this video resonated with you, I'm going to invite you again. Check out that third link in the description. Cop the full Digital Alchemist blueprint. Yeah, I'm tired. So I'm going to edit this vlog and ciao. Do it today. Be better for it tomorrow. Stay blessed. Stay long.
What am I looking at right now? Do you know what this is, Nana?
I know.
Nah, this is so funny.
I got a couple of these.
Oh, these are great.
This one is different. I got a couple of these. I died.
Oh, this is cool.
Oh, look at that.
That's cute. The telephone booth.
Yeah,
Oh, this is gorgeous.
Yeah, I have a couple of these. I love them. Let's see, when I go to Hobby Lobby, I always grab them because when they're on sale, I'm
Actually, let me go to a picture of these.